The story for today comes from the Reddit user WolfWolf7. You need to hide. You must help others out, or else they're dead too. Look, I'll tell you what happened right from the start. It all started 3 months ago, where me and my friend Andrew were at the bus stop to head to school. We weren't siblings, we were just good friends. My memory of that specific day is a little fuzzy, but I remember it well enough. Andrew asked me if I knew what his father was doing. I said no. I didn't have a clue what Andrew's dad was doing. Andrew, for that matter, didn't know either. Which is why he asked me. Let's skip boring details, shall we? Me and Andrew were in second period, and his father checked him out of school. Of course, I found this odd, but I didn't question it. After school, I texted him to see why his father checked him out. He didn't respond. I shrugged it off, thinking he was busy. But God, I wish he hadn't. It had been a whole week since he had texted me, and I was beginning to get worried. He texted me on Wednesday the next week, telling me that his dad took him on vacation. He also asked me if I wanted to hang out after school, and of course I said yes. When we hung out after school, he seemed different, but not in a good way. Like he was a puppet tied to a string. Careful with his words. He looked different too, almost like his skin was melting off. I feel bad about admitting this, but I lied and told him I had to go back home, so that way I could get some sleep that night without being plagued by nightmares. My parents just told me that he was just acting differently because of the vacation, and that he will be back to normal soon. I really hoped so, but of course, the world had to throw a curveball at me. One by one, people in my school were disappearing for a week and coming back different. Even teachers. Andrew came back to school, and his personality was completely different from what I remember. Normally, he loved to act weird with me, and didn't care if he was humiliating his friends because of it. But now, he distances himself from me, only hanging out after school. And I wouldn't have found this weird, but along with the sudden and direct personality change and physical appearance change, it just unnerved me. We had a fight about a week later. I told him that he was completely isolating himself from me and my friends, and he told me I need to stop being so clingy. It hurt indeed, but I assumed he was right. 2 months had passed, and almost everyone at my school has been taken for a week and returned. Even my parents said that their co-workers had been taken for a week. I hated it. The next day, I got called to the office to get checked out. I was scared. What's gonna happen to me? Was I going to die? Or be killed? Or would I go missing for a week and return different? I nearly cried in relief when I saw it was my mom, but that relief quickly disappeared when she told me what's going on. I don't know what's happening, but something's wrong. I've already picked up your brother. We need to get home fast. Those words sent a horrible feeling down my spine. Shortly after we got home, my parents instructed me and my little brother to get inside our rooms, to lock the door, and not answer anybody, even them. An hour passed and my parents started screaming, "Get out!" at someone. Another hour passed. They were silent. 30 minutes later, there was banging on my door, instructing for everyone in my room to get out or else the door would be broken down. I did the only thing I thought it was right. I told my brother to hide. If anyone was going to be taken, it was not going to be my little brother. 5 minutes ticked by, and someone did break down my door. To my ultimate surprise, it was Andrew's father. He seemed to find me and my brother instantaneously, ripping us out of our hiding spots. I was knocked out by something. The last thing I heard was my parents crying out, "Stay away from her," and then I blacked out. I woke up in a completely white room with only a bed and a table with some bloodied surgical tools. Oh God, the smell of that place nearly made me throw up. No one entered my room for 3 days, if you don't count someone that brought in stale bread and water for you to eat and drink. I heard faint screams from the other rooms, screams of agony and despair. I was scared. Scratch that, I was horrified. 10 days flew by, and I was beginning to lose my energy. I mean, who wouldn't lose their energy if they were given nothing to eat except stale bread and water? 15 days. 20. 25 days. It had almost been a whole month and I didn't have any energy left. On the 27th day here, someone came in my room for the first time. It was Andrew and a couple of his friends. What horrified me the most was Andrew. He was with completely black eyes, with blood-red pupils. I naturally backed away from him, and I swear I could see hurt momentarily cross through his face. But it was gone in a flash, and he simply said, "You know, you should be happy. You should be grateful that I didn't give you one of the rooms that one of the patients has been in." At that point, I was absolutely certain I was gonna die. His friends picked me up and slammed me down on the bed, immobilizing me. Everything went fuzzy, and I could feel something strapping down my arms and legs. I was horrified. I was struggling. My horror grew times 50 when I saw what Andrew had in his hand. A surgical knife. He had a bloody surgical knife. "It only hurts in the beginning, I promise," he said. I knew I was gonna die. I was gonna become like everybody else in this goddamn place. I kept struggling though. Andrew was getting angry with me, telling me to hold still so he could make a clean cut. As you would naturally guess, that only made me struggle more. This part's really fuzzy for me, but I'll try to explain it the best I can. I felt a rush of adrenaline as I ripped out of the restraints, falling off the surgical bed. I don't know how, but I managed to slam his head against the wall. He was knocked out for now. I ran out of that room, as the door has been left wide open. I guess Andrew didn't think I would try to escape. This part I remember very clearly though. As I was trying to find the exit, I saw this machine. It was being fed corpses. Blood was everywhere around the place, including guts, assorted organs, and chunks and bits of brain and other things that I probably shouldn't say. I ran past the cells. In the cell next to me, my little brother was there. In another cell were my parents being sliced open. I heard their screams, their begs for mercy. If I still wasn't filled with adrenaline, I would have been frozen in horror. I did the only thing that I thought it was right. I ripped open my little brother's cell door and I grabbed his hand. I assumed he was next. I didn't know if my little brother was sobbing in fear or in relief. I was looking everywhere to find an exit, and I finally found it. I broke through the door, running across open grass. This doesn't look anywhere near my neighborhood. But I didn't have time to linger on it for long, as I heard an alarm sound. I bolted forward, dragging my little brother with me. He begged me to slow down, but I knew I couldn't. I don't know how I managed to outrun those things, pieces of machinery. I don't dare to call them people anymore. I ran, and I ran some more. They were chasing us, and finally I reached the cliffside. I tried to run past them, but they shoved me down and grabbed my little brother. One of them aimed for me, but I took a step back. I should never have taken a step back. I fell down. I fell down in water, a lake of some sort. I remember falling into the water and blacking out. The next thing I remember is here. Please, if you're reading this, help. Or more importantly, stay away from people who were missing for a week and then came back different. Please. Please promise me. I don't want to see anybody else get chopped up into bits. Oh God. I'm coming. Help me. Help me. Run away.
Help me, please.
The end. This has been Gray Stories.